everyone. Thanks for watching Edupedia World videos. I am Nidhi Saxena and I am taking the subject Principles and Practices of Management. This particular video would be covering job analysis as the topic. This is the part 3 of module 5. Part 1 and part 2 were related to staffing. Now let's just go in detail of job analysis. Job analysis is a formal and detailed study of jobs. In a very layman language, if I say that what is job analysis, it is the entire description of a particular job, as in what are the job responsibilities and duties, and what are those qualities that are required by a person to fulfill that particular job and responsibilities and duties. For example, if we talk about a position like an HR executive, so the job role of HR executive would be described under job analysis, and also what are the skill sets required by a person to perform the role of an HR executive would also be described. So in totality, job analysis tells us what that particular position is all about. So if we look into the second bullet point, job analysis has defined as the process of determining by observation and study the tasks which comprise the job, the methods and equipments used, and the skills and attitudes required for successful performance of the job. So it is basically everything related to the job is called as, the description and the details of the particular job or particular position is mentioned under job analysis. It is a process of studying and collecting the information relating to the operations and responsibilities of a specific job, like the title, code number, characteristics of job, materials and equipments required, also the personal attributes required like education and training. As I said, like for an HR executive, if the job profile is, let's say recruitment is the major responsibility and maybe additional responsibilities are also given. So maybe skill sets or the education required by a person must be MBA HR. So this is also described under job analysis. Why is job analysis important or useful? Because till the time you do not know what is the requirement of that particular job, you will not be able to recruit the right kind of a person. For example, if you do not know that what role or what task the HR executive has to do, you will not be able to write down the specifications required by a person to do that particular job, and then you will not be able to recruit a person. So that is the reason, if we look into it, it is useful in HRP, which is human resource planning, recruitment, selection, training and development, organization audit, job evaluation, job design and performance appraisal. Job analysis gives you a base for the further activities like recruitment and selection, because on the basis of the job analysis you would be recruiting and selecting a person. On the basis of job analysis you will be able to know that what kind of training is to be given to a person who is performing that particular job. Organization audit, you will be able to understand that while auditing that right kind of person have been recruited or not, because then you will be able to match the requisite of that particular job with the actual person who has been recruited. Job evaluation is basically when we talk about a job in the monetary terms, that means how much compensation should be given to a particular job profile. So when we are writing the job analysis, we write down the duties and responsibilities of every person and the kind of experience which is required by a particular person to perform that job. So when we write job analysis for different positions, it gives us the base to finalize what kind of compensation and what kind of money should be given to different positions, different people working at different positions. So that is the reason it is important for job evaluation also. Job design, again, let's say in a department, if there are different positions like HR executive, senior executive, HR manager, maybe the VP. So if there are these 4 positions, if you are writing down the job analysis, through job analysis, if you're writing down the job role and responsibilities, then it will be easier for you to design the jobs for the different positions. As in what work should be given to the HR executive, what should be given to the senior executive, what should be given to the manager. All these things are mentioned in the job analysis, and when you do the job designing, it helps, the job analysis helps in it. Performance appraisal, of course, when you are mentioning the duties and responsibilities under job analysis, so when it comes to performance appraisal, the actual performance of the employee is compared with the performance which is required, and that performance which is required is written under the job analysis. So job analysis is a very important function of HR, wherein every position is described as to what are the roles and responsibilities, what kind of performance is expected from that person, and what are the skill sets and experience, education required by a person to fulfill that job. Now, if I show it to you diagrammatically, job analysis can be divided into two parts: job description and job specification. Job description basically tells us the tasks, responsibilities, and duties which are related to that job, as in what a person needs to do when he is working in this particular profile. And job specification talks about the knowledge, skills, and abilities that are required for a person to perform that particular job. For example, when we talk about HR executive, the roles, responsibilities, and duties of the HR executive would be the job description. And job specification would be, maybe he should be MBA HR, maybe he should be having 2 years of experience. So that will be your job specification. So describing the job in terms of roles and responsibilities is job description, and describing the job in terms of what skill sets are required by a person to perform that job is job specification. Job description and job specification in totality is called as job analysis. Job analysis makes the base for human resource planning, recruitment, selection, training and development, performance appraisal, compensation and benefits, safety and health, employee and labor relations. Till compensation and benefits, I had already explained to you in the previous slide. When we talk about safety and health, then for safety and health, every position has some particular kind of machines which are to be used.
So when we talk about safety and health, it is basically that for every position there might be certain machinery and equipments which has to be used. So safety and health pertains to that in case if that particular person is using that equipment, so the organization needs to ensure that there are no health hazards to that particular employee. So that again is based upon the job analysis, because job analysis would be describing that what is the machinery and the equipments that would be used by that person. Employee and labor relations, what position encompasses or needs what kind of relations with the management is something again which is based on job analysis. Legal considerations, in case if you are working, let's say a person is working at a particular maybe at a senior level, so his job analysis would describe that what are those legal aspects which are related to that particular job, maybe a contract or maybe kind of the compensation that is to be given to that employee. So everything has to be kept according to the law of that particular country. For example, when we talk about, let's say, Minimum Wages Act, when we talk about Gratuity and Provident Fund, everything is mentioned clearly in the law. So when you're writing the job analysis, it gives you a base to the legal considerations also which are related to a particular job. Job analysis for teams, as in when you are writing down the job analysis of individual positions, and in case if these people have to work in teams or in groups, so then again the job analysis gives you a base for keeping the different positions in a team. So that is the reason we say that job analysis is very, very important, and it gives you the description of job in terms of job description and job specification. So this is the same thing, but it is written in a different manner. And when we talk about training and development, till the time you do not know that what specific skills and experience does that person require, would you be able to train your employee? No. So that is the reason job analysis gives you a base for the training and development as well. As it is written, if specification lists a particular knowledge, skill, or ability, and the person filling the position does not possess all the necessary qualifications, training and or development is required. So this is very important. That is the reason job analysis is very, very important for staffing and training and development. It is also important for compensation and benefits. Value of job must be known before dollar value can be placed on it. That is the reason, for example, when we talk about an HR executive, HR manager, VP HR, of course the VP HR holds more value than the HR manager, and HR manager holds more value than the HR executive because of the different roles and responsibilities which are associated to that particular profile. And based upon the job analysis, the compensation is set for the different positions in an organization. These are certain things that we had already covered, but I would cover it once again.
So when we are talking about safety and health, the job analysis gives you a description of what are the different equipments and machinery that that particular job would be requiring, and in case if there are certain health hazards which are related to that job, then the organization and the employer needs to keep in mind that the employee should not get affected with that. So necessary arrangement needs to be made. Employee and labor relations lead to more objective human resource decisions, because the more important a position is, the better employer-employee relation needs to be maintained for that particular profile. Legal considerations, having done job analysis, important for supporting legality of employment practices. Like I had already mentioned, that the employer needs to keep in mind minimum wages act, needs to keep in mind fair wages, equal remuneration, trade union acts. So for every position, there are certain legal considerations which the organization and the employer needs to keep in mind. So when you write down the description of a particular job and the skill sets, then it also gives you a base for keeping the legal aspect into consideration. Today, individuals do what has to be done to complete the task. So when we talk about people working in teams and people working individually, when you are writing the job analysis, you will be able to take a decision whether this particular profile needs 2-3 people to work together, or an individual can do that particular job. So it also gives you a base for the job designing. So example, if there are 3 HR executives working in an organization, can you segregate their task, or do they need to work in team, is something that can be decided once the job analysis is written down. Uses of job analysis, the same thing: HR planning, recruitment, selection, development, performance appraisal, compensation and benefits, safety and health, employee and labor relation, HR research, and equal employment. This is a very important slide wherein we would try to understand that what is the process of job analysis. This is very, very important. Till now we have understood what is job analysis and why job analysis is important. When it comes to how job analysis is done, this is the way it is done. The first and foremost thing is organization analysis, which comprises of organization chart, class specifications, and workforce charts. Majorly, the first and foremost thing that an HR person needs to do before doing job analysis is that needs to understand the organization, needs to understand what is the organization all about, what are the different tasks which are to be done in the organization. Once that is understood, then the second step comes organizing job analysis program. For example, if you make certain departments like HR, marketing, finance, operations, then you will divide the different tasks. You will write down what all different tasks need to be done, and then on the basis of that you will segregate different positions. So that is called as organizing job analysis program. Deciding use of job analysis information, selecting the representative jobs. For example, in case if the organization is already running and you want to do a job analysis, so what you can do is not for every position can you do a job analysis. Maybe you can select certain representative jobs. You can put in that, okay, these are the, for example, you can take a senior HR executive and you can do a job analysis for that, rather than doing for HR executive and senior executive both. Then responsibility for collecting information, that is for whichever position that you have decided that okay, this position has to be analyzed, then you can take an help of an external expert or an internal expert. External expert is basically you ask a consultant to help you for job analysis. Internal expert is a person from within the organization can help you for the job analysis. Techniques of job information, how can the information be collected? In case if you are asking an external expert to come in, even the consultant would look into for certain tools through which he would be collecting the information related to that particular job. So that could be direct observation, that in you look into it what a person is doing in that particular profile. Interviews, you can take an interview of a person that okay, what are the job, what all duties are you doing, what all specifications are there, what all skill sets are you carrying. Questionnaire can be developed and then people can be asked to fill in the questionnaire. Past records, you can look into the past performance appraisal records wherein the manager must have mentioned that okay, these are the different roles and responsibilities which my subordinate is doing. So that is past records. Critical incident is the manager writes down every incident that my subordinate did this particular thing, and also the subordinate writes every day that these are the different duties that I have been doing. So from looking into those critical incidents, everyday incident, a job analysis or the job description can be done that these are the different things that needs to be done in that particular job.
So through these different techniques of job information, you get all the information related to a particular job, which can then be divided into job description and job specification. This is the same thing. If we go back to the previous slide, I hope you've understood. First is organization analysis, wherein you have to understand what is the organization all about, what are the different departments in the organization, how work would be done in every department. Organizing job analysis program, you would look into that. Okay, when we are looking into job analysis, how and when and why is it required in the organization. Deciding uses of job analysis information. Would you be requiring this job analysis information for training and development, or you require it for performance appraisal, or you require it for recruitment and selection, or you require it for everything? So these are the initial 3 steps before you actually start collecting information for the different jobs in the organization. Now, it is also not mandatory, as it is written in the next point, selecting the representative jobs. It is not necessary at all that you do job analysis of every position. Similar positions, or maybe almost similar positions, so you can drop that particular position. As in I said, if there is an HR executive and senior HR executive, maybe you can drop HR executive and you can just look into senior HR executive. Why? Maybe there is a difference only in the number of years of experience and the workload is the same. So then you can drop out one position, and when you've selected the number of positions which has to be analyzed, then you look into it that whether we need to do it internally, that is employees of the organization would be doing it themselves, or you want an external help. In case if you want an external help, you look for a consultant, or otherwise you can ask the HR department to do it for you. And then you look into the different techniques of job information. What are the different techniques that you use to collect the information related to that job, and then you write down the job description and specification. Now, this is again very important. When we were looking into, as in case if you look into this, there is one block which mentions techniques of job information, which is being segregated into 5 different techniques. These techniques can further be classified into 2 subcategories, which is qualitative and quantitative. Qualitative is like observation, interview. So, as I was mentioning that the categories of methods of collecting job data can be classified into 2, qualitative and quantitative techniques. Qualitative job analysis techniques are observation, interview, technical conference, diary logs, which cannot be quantified, which cannot be measured. These are just in a theoretical language it is written. For example, even in an interview, maybe questions can be asked. These questions can be structured or unstructured questions. Conferences can happen wherein experts can come in and they can tell that which job requires what. Diary and logs, as the critical incidents that we were talking about, that everyday diary can be maintained, that what all different tasks were done. Quantitative job analysis technique is by using a questionnaire, which is maybe it has some particular scale, and on which it can be every responsibility and duty can be quantified and measured. So that is called as a quantitative technique. After once we have understood job analysis, the next important terminology is job designing. Let me just read this for you. Job design involves conscious efforts to organize tasks, duties, and responsibility into a unit of work to achieve certain objectives. Job design follows job analysis. What happens is that once the job analysis is done, and for every position there are certain tasks and duties which are allocated, job designing is further restructuring the job, maybe further looking into task, duties, and responsibilities which can be additional or which can be clubbed with that particular job profile. So job designing is done once the basic job analysis is done. Job designing involves 3 steps: the specification of individual tasks, the specification of the method of performing each task, and the combination of tasks into specific jobs to be assigned to individuals. So it is just one step ahead of job analysis. Once the job analysis is done, I'll give you an example. Let's say if there is an HR executive, senior executive, manager, and VP, and job analysis is done for every position. Later on, it is realized that there were 3 HR executives, but the work of the 3 HR executive can be clubbed into only 2 HR executives. So then what you will do, the work which was assigned to the third HR executive would be divided between the first 2 executives. This is called as job designing. wherein further tasks, duties, and responsibilities can be assigned apart from the job analysis which was done earlier. Another term is job rotation. What happens is that maybe at, let's say if there is a marketing, sales and marketing department, and if you say that a person is doing, let's say, a sales department, a person was doing sales to retailers or let's say individuals, and then later on, you give the same individual, you put him into corporate sales. So this is what you have changed the profile of the person within the sales department. So maybe, at particular period of time, you ask that particular person to do job A, and then you switch the person from job A to job B. This is called as job rotation. Why is job rotation done in organization? So that there is no monotonous work which is being done by one particular person. At the same time, the person learns new skills and experiences. So later on, in case if the organization wants that person to do XYZ job, the person knows how to do it. So let me just take you through the slide. Systematically moving workers from one job to another is job rotation. Why it is done? To add variety and reduce boredom, to enhance work team performance, to broaden the experience of the employee, identifying strong and weak points to prepare the person for an enhanced role in the organization. So when a person in the marketing department does five different types of tasks, maybe at for 2 months he's doing job A, then B, then C, then D, then E, and then he is promoted to the next level. He knows all the different tasks which are to be done in that department. So that helps the individual also because he gets experience of everything, and it helps the organization also to, because the organization gets a well versed employee. Job enlargement, what happens is that maybe, as I said, that let's talk about in a salesperson. Okay, now he was handling five different clients. What you do is you put in two more clients to this particular, you give two the more clients to this particular person. The job remains the same, but it is just that an additional load is given to the person of the same profile. This is called as job enlargement. So you are not adding on anything additional. There were five tasks which were done by the individual. You are adding on the same task, but the quantity increases. That is called as job enlargement. So let me just take you through the bullets. Assigning workers additional same level activities. See, the same level activity is important. Thus increasing the number of activities, tasks they perform in the same job. So it is not that something additional responsibility is given to the person which is of a higher level. No, it is of the same level. At the same level, just let's say if he was selling 100 units of sale were supposed to be done, he is given additional 50. So what is it? He is doing the same work of the same level. No different level work is given to the person. Then it is called as job enlargement. Job enlargement can motivate because of task variety, meaningful work modules, ability utilization, worker paced control, and performance feedback, but at times it becomes tiring for an individual also. Job enrichment is different from job enlargement because in job enrichment, a higher level work is given to the person. In case if, let's say, if an HR executive and an HR manager, now you think that the HR manager might be leaving in another a month or so. So what you do is gradually you give some work of the HR manager to the HR executive also, so that by the time HR manager leaves, the HR executive is trained for that. So what have you done? You have added on some responsibility of higher level to his job profile. That is called as job enrichment because you have enriched the profile. So it is different from enlargement. Job enlargement was putting additional load of the same level. Job enrichment is putting additional load of higher level. So redesigning jobs in a way that increases the opportunities for the worker to experience feelings of responsibility, achievement, growth, and recognition. So if you are giving additional work of a higher level, of course the person would feel recognized. Of course the person would feel that okay, this is my achievement because I have been given work of some higher profile. Downsizing is basically what happens is that at times the company doesn't want people or wants to reduce the number of people working in the organization because of XYZ reason. And then what they have to do is they have to actually ask employees to leave. That is called as downsizing. Downsizing usually is considered as a negative term because if the organization is doing well, then the organization will never think of asking the employees to leave. So that is the reason downsizing is not preferred in organizations, but uh, good thing that can be done even during downsizing is that the employees could be helped to find new jobs, or employees can be told that okay, you have just 1 month time, we'll give you salary for the next month, during this 1 month you find a job for yourself. That is a better way of doing downsizing, because that doesn't bring that bad a name to the organization. With this, we come to the end of the video. I would like to summarize whatever we've studied so far. We studied what is job analysis. It contains job description and specification. Why is it important? What are the uses of job analysis? What is the process of job analysis? And then we studied certain terms like job enrichment, job enlargement, job rotation, job design, and downsizing. I hope this video brought knowledge to you. Thank you so much for watching this video. Do watch the next part of the same module, because we would be covering a very important topic of recruitment and selection in that particular video. Thank you so much.